Think about the heaviest responsibility you carry today. Now imagine bearing that weight before you even know how to navigate the world. That was Araf. He went from living a normal childhood to being suddenly expected to hold up the world after his father passed away and mother fell ill. The toll was immediate and physical. His routine became a relentless cycle of waking up before dawn, taking on heavy manual labor, and coming home to care for a sick parent. The mind eventually follows the body. When every single waking hour is dedicated entirely to survival, the internal pressure builds until there is zero space left to process grief. This pressure created a vacuum of total, suffocating loneliness. Arav was facing his life with the terrifying realization that if he fell, there was no one behind him to catch the weight. At night, when the house finally went quiet, Arav would sit outside and stare up at the night sky. He was searching for a presence, anyone or anything that understood what he was going through. He began demanding an answer from the universe. If a loving God exists, why is this specific, unbearable suffering allowed to continue? This chart shows the mechanics of an isolation loop. You experience a trauma, you ask for help into the void, and the lack of a response echoes back as despair. That despair pushes you even deeper into isolation, and the cycle accelerates. Arav had reached the absolute limit of human psychological endurance. Without an external anchor to hold on to, he was on the verge of a total internal collapse. That collapse arrived on a random, unremarkable night. The compounding weight of the day's responsibilities piled up, and his body simply gave out. He hit the floor and spoke into the dark through tears of pure exhaustion. He wasn't asking for a magical rescue from his life. He was pleading for proof of existence and a path forward. He finished speaking. A heavy, unbroken silence followed, the kind of quiet that makes the darkness feel even thicker. Physically spent, he eventually drifted off right there on the floor, slipping from waking despair into a deeply symbolic subconscious dream state. By reaching a state where his own efforts had failed completely, Arav had cleared away his last defenses. He was finally empty enough to receive an answer he couldn't find on his own. In the dream, he found himself walking down a pitch-black, endless road. It was a perfect mirror of the terrifying isolation he lived every single day. A slow, piercingly warm light appeared in the distance, cutting through the cold expanse of the dream. As he drew closer, he saw Jesus. The presence was defined by a sense of calm, empathetic love. Jesus reached out and took his hand. In that moment of physical connection, Arav finally admitted the truth. He was completely exhausted and could no longer carry the weight. Jesus met this confession with a core paradigm shift. Divine strength is injected precisely at the moment of maximum human weakness. Immediately, the heavy darkness physically dissolved. The fog pulled back, and the road ahead became sharply, undeniably clear. This encounter provided Arav with the specific endurance required to walk directly back into the life he had just tried to escape. Arav woke up the next morning to the exact same environment. His mother was still sick, and the heavy labor was still waiting for him. This model shows why the morning felt different. The external hardship block on the left is a massive, unchanging reality. The prayer didn't alter his material world. However, his internal architecture expanded, providing a capacity to hold the weight that was impossible the day before. This intervention functions as a fundamental upgrade to human resilience, providing the strength to sustain pressures that would previously have been catastrophic. Divine companionship acts as an internal armor, allowing a person to walk through the fires of life without being consumed by the heat. When Arav walked out of his house that morning, his posture was resolute, facing a brutal day with a strength that didn't belong to him. This same quiet strength is available to anyone in a moment of deep isolation, offering a way to stand when everything else is pushing you down. Arav's story suggests that while the path we walk is often fixed, our capacity to navigate it can be transformed. Type Amen if you are ready to receive that same strength for your journey.